I'm 40, she's 37. We both have kids. We're both single moms, and we both did it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Joy. I'm a neonatal nurse practitioner living here in Houston. I make content about nursing, living here in Houston, and how to achieve your goals. If that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and push that subscribe button and let's get into the content. Today, I'm going to give you guys my update about living in Houston. It has officially been 10 months since I've been living in Houston, and I have a lot of good things to share with you guys. As you can see, I have somebody sitting here next to me. This is my sister. Her name is Tanea, and she moved here to Houston, y'all. So we're going to talk about how she got here, what she did, what made her move here. Her story is a little bit different from mine, so if you have a different circumstance than I do, her story might be more helpful to you. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and let my sister introduce herself and tell y'all her story.
Hi, you guys. My name is Tanea. I am Joy's sister, and I came here to Houston. I've been here 3 months, so I am very proud of myself. But I am a mother of 7 children. I brought 6 children with me. I have a grown adult child. So yeah, I'm a single parent, and I'm a criminal justice major who is doing CNA traveling. So yeah, I'm excited to be here.
All right, so basically what we're trying to tell y'all is you can move to Houston as a single parent. I moved here as a single mom. My sister moved here as a single mom. I have 1 kid. She has 7 kids. So what I'm trying to tell you now is there's no excuses. If you want to move to Houston, you want to change your life, today is the day to start, and we're going to tell you how to do it. Okay, sis, go ahead and tell them why you chose to move to Texas.
Well, I could have chose anywhere in the world, but I chose Texas because I was looking for peace. I was looking for change, and family also brought me here. And I knew that although I was doing CNA traveling through agency work, I knew that it would be good for a criminal justice job as well. So to give my kids a new beginning and myself, I chose to come to Texas, and I think it was a good choice.
I think it was a good choice too. And y'all know I moved here because I had a job offer here. So 2 completely different situations, but again, no excuses why you can't do it. So when looking for a place, like what location you want to live in and stuff like that, how did you end up where you are now?
First thing I wanted to look at was jobs. Jobs is just like the main thing. You want to make sure that when you move, you are going to be financially at least stable. Like, you're not going to be rich, but you need to be stable. So I started to look at jobs that where my agency had locations at. So I synced a lot of locations at a particular area, and then I went from there, from like seeing that there was a lot of opportunities there to work. And then I went on to look at schools. Schools was big to me because I didn't want to move my kids from where they was at making good grades to somewhere where a poor school district or a lot of crime, violence at the school. So schools was important to me. And I'm talking about public schools. I'm not talking about private. So I looked at public schools and the ratings of public schools. I looked at areas with low crime rate. I wanted to avoid traffic, and I wanted to avoid those tolls because they get very expensive, and I knew I was starting fresh, so I wanted to avoid all those things. And their speed limit here is like very high. Where I'm from is like a small town, more like I live by farm. So it went from like 35 to 45 miles per hour, and now they like 95 miles per hour, and the police thinks that's fine. So I wanted to go away from that.
There's no police.
Yeah.
And guys, y'all got to remember, we come from a small town. We come from Alton, Illinois. It's a very small town, and we are moving here to Houston. So even though we didn't move into the city, we're on the outskirts in the suburbs. It's still way different. I mean, like she said, like people are driving 50 in the suburbs, like on the residential street. Like once you get into the highway, 90 easy, and there's no police stopping you. Yeah. So you have to be ready.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Location is really big. Location is very important. When my sister was moving down here, I was telling her over and over, make sure you pick a good location. So talk more about that.
Okay, so that was kind of hard for me, and had to compromise because I don't never listen to my big sister, but I was seeing some amazing houses with amazing prices in Houston, and I'm like, girl, they got this house. It's for this price, and she like, no, that house gonna look good, and you're gonna come outside and you're gonna get robbed and all that stuff. And I looked it up, and she actually was telling the truth. People was giving reviews like it's a bad neighborhood, and the house would look super amazing, like superstar houses, but they just in the city in bad neighborhoods. So you want to make sure that if you can't afford a gated community, you at least want to make sure that your kids are safe walking to school, walking back, just being outside, being able to play. What a place may look like in the daytime will be different at 7:30 come in Texas. Everybody come outside when it gets cooler. So like at night, you'll see a different version of your house. So you want to make sure that your location is good in the daytime as well as night, especially if you have kids. That is very, very important.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about expenses. If you watched my first Houston video, then you know that I spent around $10,000 to move here, and I'll link that video here so you can go back and watch that if you want. But in my video, I talk about how important it is to save up so much money and to move down here. I had movers. So my experience was a little different from my sister. So I'm going to let her talk about like how she moved down here and how much it cost her.
Okay, if you're an impulsive person like me and you don't just plan out your life, you need to listen. So I didn't really have a lot of time. I had like less than a year to figure out my move and planning. So I would think like you need to first have a budget. You need to go like have a budget of what's in your means, because once you see a lot of things, it's going to shift you from your basics, things that you start at. So I feel like you want to first start with where I started with expensive. I looked at the houses. The houses are expensive, more expensive than where we come from. Like I was paying around $1,300 a month for rent, and I had a 5-bedroom, a nice house with a big backyard, and that doubled, almost tripled to move here. So you want to make sure you have the deposit and the first month rent, and that's where you start at. So that'll tell you a lot what it's going to look like. If that's just your start, you haven't even put in all the other steak and potatoes around that. So then after I did all those things and budget that in, I'll start looking at how am I going to move my things. At first, I thought I had a mover. I had somebody that was gonna move my things. I was gonna pay them to drive. I was gonna do nothing. All I had to do is pack my stuff. But after I started looking at the prices, it got higher and higher and higher. So I end up renting a U-Haul, and I end up having to drive it myself. Yeah, I am one of the worst drivers in the world. I cannot bag up nor parallel park. So that was one of my challenges. I cried. I was just like, but if it's something that you really want to do, you're going to have to put your fears aside. It's going to be so many things that's going to go wrong and that's going to scare you. You're going to be scared the whole time. But it was big for me to just do it. And I didn't have the money, or I wasn't going to let anybody knock me from coming. So I got in the U-Haul. I drove myself, and the U-Haul priced me like at $1,500 or more, and after that it was even charging me because I went through all these tolls, so that cost as well. So that was $1,500 to get all my stuff here, which is cheap. Because if I would have paid somebody, they wanted me to pay them so much money to get them back on a plane. It was just so much money. So I feel like that was a win for me, even though it was scary. Okay, and then so for the U-Haul, I had only one of my kids, which is my 19-year-old. She drove with me, and we had to move. We got here. So now we got to get all the things off the U-Haul. We moved everything, but I was just like, once I had got my washer and dryer, I was like, I just can't get it up the stairs. So I had an option to find someone on the U-Haul app, and I paid them, and it's like $150 for 2 hours. So I paid 2 guys to come in for 15 minutes and move my washer and dryer. So I felt a little cheated with that. I should have left some things for them to do, but I didn't know I was going to run out of strength. So,
but wait, y'all, listen to this. She was able to go on the U-Haul app and get 2 men to come and move her stuff. So again, what I'm telling you is when you move down here, if you move your own stuff on the U-Haul, there's apps that you can use to get people to do stuff for you. There's Thumbtack, there's U-Haul, there's options where you're not left moving all of your furniture on your own.
Yeah, it's pricey, but yeah. Another thing that I had to do, which I had only took one child. So now I have to go get my other kids as well. So, the plane tickets, they are expensive. So I had to rent a car once I got here, and I rented a car, and then I traveled back 13 hours, and I had to get my kids and travel back again. So that was a process and a journey. I cried. Another time, you're going to cry. This is a process. You're going to cry. You're going to shed some tears. This is going to be a lot of growing pains and a lot of pains to this, but it's all worth it. And I did it. So that was one of the things that was very expensive, because of course I'm not getting a U-Haul for one day. I had to get rest and I had to get the kids. So I got the rental for probably like 4 or 5 days, and that was priced at like $700. So that was an expense that I had to include within my moving.
Yeah, it's a lot. But one thing that I always tell y'all, like, if you are growing, it's not comfortable. So in order to grow, you have to get very comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you're willing to make that sacrifice and not be comfortable, then you can grow. And it's hard. Nobody said it was easy. If it was easy, everybody would be moving.
Yeah, she said that to me every time I called her with a nervous breakdown. She said, "Tanea, it's not easy. If everybody, yeah." And what she was saying was so true, and I had to like really listen to her, because it's going to be many times that you're going to want to just turn back, but you got to keep going, because this is what you want. This is something that you worked for, and you deserve it. So you have to just keep going. Okay, so your vehicle. Now you have to get your vehicle here. I have a car, and I had to get it shipped. And so when you shipping your car, you're going to reach out to a company, but they have people that work for them, which I didn't know. So you'll have a price come in for this much, price come in for this much. They're all going to be different, and the prices usually is not flat. They do tend to go up, but I found a lot of companies that say their price will not go up. This is the amount. They will not charge you. Some of them that I even looked at, that they won't charge you up front, because who wants to pay somebody that money and don't even know if they're going to do the job? Mm-hmm. They don't charge you up front. You have to put a credit card on file, and they will charge you once the car is picked up some money, and then once they get here, they'll do the full price. So that's something that you have to put in your budget, and I will say it can run about, it depends on your location and how far you are from where you're moving, but that's something that I had to put in my budget.
And one thing about it is, y'all know I had my daughter's car shipped here, and I drove my car. But they initially quoted me $400, and then by the time she got here, the price is $600. So you can't really believe what they tell you what the price is going to be. You have to have enough in your budget, and you have to tell them, like, no, I'm not paying more than that. Because you're not dealing with the person who's shipping your car. You're dealing with the middleman. So the middleman is dealing with you, and then he's calling drivers and seeing who he can get to ship your car for the price that he quoted you. So just be prepared for that. The reason why I did not link my person down below is because they did that to me. And I'm not recommending anybody who I feel like do bad business. And so when you guys are researching, just making sure that when you're talking to these companies, they're understanding what you have to pay and that you're not going to go past that.
You also want to have things in writing. You want to have that all that stuff is included, gas and all that other things are included, because they will get there and they'll add on all these other things that they didn't talk about. So you want to have everything in writing. You'll have a contract. It comes with a contract. So in your contract, if anything is not in there, you want to contact them and talk about it, because those are going to be the things that they're going to come on the back end and say, this costed this much and that, and you're on a budget. So you want to keep things where you said you at. If that's how much money you got, that's how much money you got to spend, because they will get you.
They will. One thing I can say though, the driver that dropped off my daughter's car, he picked it up early in the morning. He dropped it off later that night. I mean, literally in one day, he drove straight through and dropped their car off. He was very nice. He was very polite. Nothing was wrong with the actual driver who brought the car. It's just more like dealing with a company who's in between y'all. So as far as like my update being in Houston, y'all, I've lived through my first hurricane. My sister was here.
I did too. My first day getting my stuff in here, the hurricane hit.
Yeah, Hurricane Burrow came through, my first hurricane. And I'm not saying this to dismiss anybody else's struggles, but I'm just saying this because it's my own personal experience. The hurricane to me was like a strong thunderstorm. I wasn't scared. It wasn't scary. I didn't lose power. I didn't go through any of the things that people went through where they lost their food and all those kind of things. I know a lot of people in Houston did lose houses and stuff like that. But me personally, it was a strong thunderstorm. I was at my man's house chilling. So I survived my first hurricane. How did you feel about the first hurricane?
It was a different experience, because I had view of a balcony and I got to see a lot of strong winds and a lot of stuff that was going on, but it was mostly strong winds and heavy rain. I seen a couple little trees get pulled out, but they was little weak trees. It wasn't really like strong. Well, when I came home, I had all trees on my block off, so it was kind of strong winds that I never probably experienced at home. I never experienced that sight of all the stuff, this trees all over the street. But other than that, it was not major, but I think I freaked out and I called my sister when I went to the grocery store, and I was just like, girl, like I should probably try to get home. I was trying to get home when I was scared because everybody was running around and like grabbing food. There was like not a lot of supplies in the store, and I think that like freaked me out more than anything. I was just like, oh my gosh. And she's just like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a storm.
Because I'm a well prepared person, y'all. I had food stocked up in my house. I have plenty of water. Like, I know I'm moving into a hurricane land, so I'm prepared for a hurricane. I got backup batteries, I got candles, I got stuff. So I felt okay. I felt prepared. The worst thing about storms here in Houston is you lose power. And so that's what I was worried about. I didn't lose power, so I was cool with everything else. You know, anything else can happen. Another thing is, I've survived my first summer here in Houston. And that is a big thing that everybody like, oh, it's so hot, it's so hot. But let me just tell you something. It's only hot if you believe it's hot. I come from a place where it snows. I come from a place where it snows, and I hate snow. So I'm not upset about the heat. I'm not upset about it. Like, it's not like I'm going outside at noon, right when the sun is high, and laying out in the sun. I'm not doing that, okay? So most people in Houston, they go out after 5:30. That's when we go outside. The sun is calmed down. It's not that bad. Sometimes you get a little breeze. It's all right. So you have to decide what's important to you. I hate snow. I'd rather have heat.
So I had a little experience with the heat because my car wasn't here right away. So I would have to like walk my daughter to school, and it was right around the corner, but we had to stand outside parent pickup like for like 30 minutes. And I was looking at the people and I'm like, y'all doing this? Like, I thought I was gonna die. Because first of all, I'm a makeup wearer. And if you like to wear makeup,
let it go.
Let it go. Let it go. Your wig, you might want to let that go.
Let it go.
If it's not like a glueless wig, baby, let it go. The long wig all down, let it go. It's so hot. Like, it's so hot if you are used to trying to be extra. If you get where I'm going with that. If you're an extra person, it's just too hot for you. So you want to stay in the house.
Yeah, I don't really wear wigs until it cool off. You know, I'm gonna wear the braids. I'm gonna wear a sew-in or something like that. But even a sew-in is pushing it. Once it cool off, you know, like now it's starting to cool off. So now you can wear makeup and wigs and all that kind of stuff. But like not in the dead of summer. Let that go and be happy with your face in the mirror, like plain.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next update is gonna be about dating and going to the club, because that's really what y'all be wanting to know. Like, is the clubs popping and is dating, you know, a mess down here? Okay, because everybody say dating is a mess down here, but again, you gotta be positive. You gotta stay positive. So I'm not having these bad experiences that you hear about on other people's YouTube channels. What I'm gonna tell you is this: whatever you are, that's what you attract. So.
Baby.
So be positive, be joyful, be light, be girly, and that's what you're gonna get. Like, you have to understand that you play a part in what you attract.
And let me say this, I feel like if you are coming from a messed up situation, you got things that you're going through within yourself, take this time to work on yourself before you even look to add anyone in your life, and that will put you at a better stance to find somebody good to you. Because if you come down here from mess, your vision is blurry. So work on yourself and get yourself together, because that's what I'm taking time out to do. I don't want to date nobody. I just want to work on myself and find peace. And then when you find peace within yourself, you can find good people.
I mean, obviously, when we went out to some bars. The people was real nice.
They was.
The people are nice. The men are nice. Everybody's nice.
Yeah, they a vibe. They definitely are. They got hospitality. They very nice. The girls are very nice. It's a vibe. Like to be around people like yourself. Okay, one thing you need to get like used to it and adjusting is the language barrier. Like a lot of people speak Spanish for their first language, so they're gonna approach you with Spanish. When they come to your house to do any kind of work, it's mostly gonna be someone speaking Spanish. When I was even trying to talk to my trash guy, he spoke Spanish. I could not articulate what he was trying to say. So I think it is a good chance to like work on your Spanish and, you know, just brush up on that, because a lot of people are going to be speaking Spanish. They do not speak English. And that's just where my location. I don't know if that's just my location, but where I'm at.
That's Houston. A lot of people speak Spanish. We are close to the border. Like your DoorDash driver, everybody's going to speak Spanish. So for me, like my big thing is I want to be more cultured. I want to learn a language. I want to learn a sport. And hell, I might even learn an instrument. I'm thinking about taking piano lessons. So take this opportunity to grow. Like learn a language. I'm doing mine on YouTube, and then I have this tutor that I'm going to be using. But you guys can take this time to do that. If you focus on the negative, if you focus on everybody speaking Spanish is so frustrating, then it's just going to be so frustrating. But if you focus on the fact that this is an opportunity to learn a new language, you're going to be happy.
Yeah.
So speaking about being focused on the positive, go ahead and name some things that you love about the suburbs where you stay.
I love the scenery. I even take time to look at the sky. And my kids are like, Mom, you act like you never see the sky. The sky is different here. I'm trying to tell you, it's so pretty. And just like back home, it was like liquor stores everywhere. It is lakes and ducks literally everywhere. Like you see more ducks than you see cats and dogs around here. It's just so beautiful. A lot of the scenery when you go outside is just beautiful. It makes you happy inside just to see all of it's regular stuff, but it just looks beautiful. It's just look richer. It just make you feel like you made a good choice.
Yeah.
I also love, we talked about the hospitality of the people. Everybody speaks. It's like a thing. I had to practice that because I'm from North, so we do not talk to each other a lot, and we're not that friendly, but everybody here is like, hi, how you doing? Good morning. So I think it's the thing. Like I tell everybody good morning. I feel so good. So yeah, everybody is nice and they like to say hello, good morning. And that's just one of the pros. Those are a lot of the pros. It's a lot of jobs here. A lot of people complain about not being able to get a job. But if you got a good resume and you got will to work, even if you gotta hustle, because I do hair and I do makeup here. I'm on pages where I offer my services, so it's a lot of ways and a lot of more opportunities here. So I'm enjoying it here and I love it.
Okay, so that pretty much wraps up this video. Like my sister said before, she does hair and makeup. I'm going to go ahead and link her TikTok here, so you guys can go to her TikTok and follow her page and support her. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any questions or want to talk about anything, go ahead and leave me a comment down below. And if this video was helpful to you, please like and subscribe and share this video with anybody that you know is trying to move out of town. Even if you're not trying to move to Houston, I feel like these videos are still helpful with getting perspective on moving. Like I said before, I'm 40, she's 37. We both have kids. We're both single moms and we both did it. Yeah. Which means you can do it.
You can do it too.
All right, guys. I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Baby girl, you are so pretty.